Okay, so depending on where you are in your weight loss journey, you probably have a different perspective on what makes it so hard. If you're just starting out losing weight for like the first or the second time, it's fucking hard to just eat differently. Track your food, track your calories, stick to your meal times, whatever you're deciding to do. Whereas if you've done this a few times, it's still fucking hard to do those things, but now you have also probably realized that it's a bit harder to get back in that mindset you had to lose weight. And it's a little bit harder to trust yourself because in your mind, you've already failed before. Like you've lost weight and then gained it back. On one hand, you have like some confidence having done it before and knowing that you can do it. On the other hand, each time you like yo-yo, that confidence gets like eroded and eventually you feel just like trapped. Like you can't start losing weight because you're afraid that it's not going to be forever. You struggle every day with like the emotional pain of being overweight, but you can't motivate yourself to lose weight because you don't know how to make that change for good. And every time you gain weight back, it just feels worse and worse. At least that's the way it was for me. But just like, hang on a second. Like, where does all this even come from? What the fuck is weight? What are calories, carbs? What is fat? What is skinny? It's all just shit we made up, like jobs or months or weddings or holidays or money. So if none of this shit is real, where does it come from? In the end, even if pounds aren't real, the feeling is still real. So why do you still feel like you need to lose weight? Usually it comes from pain. The shame you were made to feel whenever it was you found out that people thought your body looked gross. The embarrassment when your friend makes an offhand comment and you realize for the first time like that they think of you as the fat kid, or the humiliation when the girl you like at school asks if you have man boobs. I'm speaking from experience here. Some people think that you can shame other people into losing weight and that you should do that for their own good. But it clearly doesn't fucking work. Yes, through the power of shame, you may have become an expert in losing weight over the years, but that's not what you wanted. Did you want to lose weight and gain it back and lose weight so many times you became like an expert at weight loss? No. You wanted to lose weight once. You wanted to be sexy, be thin, be buff, but ultimately you wanted to be accepted and loved by others and by yourself. And the good news about that is you can have that today or next week or next month, whenever you're ready for it. You can give that gift to yourself. And that's like, bro, that is the good news. It's not easy, but you can do it. So here's what you do. Here's like how you start. Step one, you have to recognize the negative thoughts that keep you ashamed and stuck. A good way to do this is if you have like a trip coming up or like some event where you're going to see people like your friends or your family who you haven't seen in a while, you're probably like worried about how they're going to perceive you. You're probably worried that they'll think you're fat. And a lot of that, if you have like nice friends and family, if you're lucky enough, a lot of that is probably just internal. It comes from you. So like you probably imagine in your head like the scenario of like you get to the family gathering and like someone makes a comment and like you feel ashamed and embarrassed or something, but like that's you can like examine that in your mind and like ask yourself like, is this realistic? Like, is this actually going to happen? You can also, because we like are so fucking bad at loving ourselves and giving ourselves the same level of like respect and acceptance that we would give to other people, you can imagine like if somebody else showed up at this gathering, like if one of your other friends or family members showed up, or like, you know, at work, even if it's just going to work the next day or the next week, if somebody at work showed up and they had gained weight, like, would you judge them like this? Like, would you be like, damn? You probably wouldn't. If you're like, you wouldn't do that. And if you wouldn't do that, your friends and family probably are not going to do that either. And so, like, a lot of this, like you can see it just comes from your mind. Like, it's these narratives that you have internalized over like the years that you've been ashamed of how you look and what you weigh. So the first step is like recognizing those, because it's hard to even like, it's hard to start noticing that when it's like you're constant, like it's just what you're used to. Like you might not even like notice when that's happening. But if you think about this and you say like, okay, I'm going to start trying to recognize when I'm doing this, you will start recognizing some. You won't recognize all of them. Like it's something you have to practice. It's something I'm still practicing. But even recognizing some of them is a good start. And it leads to the second step, which is to practice challenging those narratives. So like we kind of thought like basically that's what I said. Like, so you can think like if somebody else showed up to this thing and they had gained weight or they had, you know, whatever, they looked different, like would I be judging them? Like would I be like saying the things that I'm worried about them saying to me? Like no. And that's like a way to challenge that thought. One of the biggest realizations that helps a lot with this, and like it can come from like mindfulness practice, is that you don't have to identify with all of your thoughts. You can pick and choose which ones are helpful and which ones you want to keep. And the others you can just like, oh, they're just thoughts. They're not like the inner truth of your being. Like your mind is just fucking, it's just thinking shit. And a lot of that shit that it's thinking is like internalized like fear and shame and guilt and doubt. And that's not you. You don't have to like hold on to that and let that be you. You can just like let those ones go. Another way you can challenge those narratives and negative thoughts is by like actively saying the thing that you want to think in that scenario. Like you can think about it ahead of time. Like you probably know, like when when you're thinking about this, you probably know like the kinds of stuff that you worry about and like the common themes, right? And you can think about like what you would like to think in that instance. Like when you go out to like a club or a movie or a restaurant, like, and you see people, what is it that you want to be thinking? Like if you had full control over your feelings and your thoughts, which you don't, by the way, but if you did, you might think something like when people see me, they're going to be like, oh, damn, there's Kirby. Like I haven't seen him in forever. Like it's so good to see him. I can't wait to like hang out with this guy. Like we're going to have such a good time. Like that's a positive thought. Like that might be what they're thinking. They could just as easily be thinking something positive like that as they can be thinking something negative. And this is like the glass half full but over glass half empty question. But like if there's just as if the chance is just the same, if it's just as likely they're thinking something negative as they are thinking something positive, shouldn't we like believe that they're thinking something positive? Which of those things is going to help us? Which of those things do we want to feel? Like that's all it comes down to. The third step, and I think this is like the most important, and I'm still working on all of these, but I'm definitely still working on this third step, is to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And if you've like done any of this mindfulness shit, you probably have like come up against this concept before. And basically what it is there's no way as a human person on human earth that we can avoid all our negative thoughts and emotions. It's just not going to happen. It's like feelings are part of the deal. Good feelings and bad feelings. You can choose which ones you want to listen to and which ones you want to act on, but you're not going to be like 100% perfectly aware of them in that case, and you're still going to experience them. So if you're going to experience them anyway, then you might as well just like become homies. Like you want to stop running away from the feelings that are uncomfortable and stop trying to like, as soon as you feel something uncomfortable, just get rid of it, just distract yourself. Because ultimately, when weight loss is motivated like from a place of negativity, like shame, guilt, fear, and you are trying to lose weight so you can feel better, so you can avoid those negative feelings because you think like losing weight is going to help you feel more confident, it's going to help you feel less ashamed, you're going to be able to be more yourself. You're just trying to lose weight so you can avoid those feelings. And when you lose weight for that reason, it doesn't last. You can't fix those things by losing weight. I know it seems like fucking insane if you've never been down this road that like losing weight is not going to fix all your problems. But if you have started down this path, or if you can just imagine yourself like having the body, the dream body that you have wanted to have. Like you got it. You're there. Like imagine that right now. Like you're sitting there watching this video and that's what your body looks like. You are still gonna be you, just skinnier or buffer or whatever. You're still gonna have like all the thoughts, worries, insecurities, fears, doubts, guilt that you have. And like, yes, losing weight can help that temporarily. Like temporarily when you lose weight, like you can feel more confident. You maybe have like experienced that in your life. If you've ever like lost some weight successfully before, like you probably have noticed that like you are more confident, you're more comfortable putting yourself out there for a little while. But like just think about it to yourself. Like, has that ever worked in the long term? Like, did you stop worrying about shit? Did you stop like feeling insecure? Or like, do you still feel like that? I think you probably still feel like that. Because I do. And I did. And what helped me, what continues to help me, what is helping me as I'm on this journey, everybody's on this journey. That's another thing. The journey doesn't stop when you gain weight again. That's part of the journey. But anyways, has helped me as I've been on this journey is to accept how I am and how I look, and to try and change those negative thought patterns in my mind and challenge them and change them into positive ones. And like I've gained a lot of self-confidence as a result. Like there's no fucking way I would be making these videos without like that work that I've done. There's absolutely no way I would like come on camera on the internet and identify as a fat person or a person who has even struggled with this, because like my whole fucking life I was so afraid to even like let people know that I struggled with this. There's no way I would have done any of that without starting from a place of self-acceptance. Because when you start from a place of self-acceptance, instead of being motivated by shame or negative emotions, you can decide to do this like for reasons that matter to you. And like you can start doing this today. Like you can start practicing this like as soon, like the next time you have like a negative thought, like you can practice changing that. And that's loving yourself. That's like the steps you build up as you love yourself. That's like an act of love, an act of acceptance. And if you don't believe me, if you think like I probably would have at the beginning if I somehow saw a video like this, you think like, yeah, whatever, dude, like I'm different. I can do it. I can white knuckle it and just fucking double down and lose the weight and count the calories for the rest of my life or as long as it takes. Think about, is that the way you want to live your life? Even if you could do that, is that the life you want to live? You might think, it doesn't matter if it's the life I want to live. It's just too painful right now I need to lose the weight now. That's okay. That's a place where I was for a long time. And it's okay to be in that place. So you do what you have to do. Just try and take care of yourself on the way. That's what I'm trying to do.